Previously, a major subcenter plan led to large-scale development. I'm going to feature the enormous commercial facility located in Osaka, Nanko. It's called the Asia Pacific Trade Center, commonly known as Asia Pacific Trade Center, which opened in 1994 and is a commercial complex made up of two islands. In this video, I'll refer to it by its abbreviation, Asia Pacific Trade Center. When it first opened, there were all kinds of. Several companies initially moved in, but high rent and poor transportation led them to leave, causing the facility to go bankrupt. A private individual currently manages the business as president. Although the business is in the black, there's a trick to it, so we can't confidently say that things are going well. That's what was mentioned in the video. I will introduce everything from the origins of AC to its future, sharing local footage and my impressions from visiting. On this channel, I'll continue to create many videos for everyone to enjoy, so please be sure to subscribe. So this is the new tram trade center operated by Osaka Metro. I'm walking through the connecting passage directly from the previous station to head to AC. This area was developed with the aim of becoming Osaka's secondary city center. I'll talk more about this secondary city center plan later. After the connecting passage, you enter the facility and find an open corridor lined with pillars. Each pillar has a monitor displaying AC events and announcements. As you can see from the video, the clean corridor makes a good impression. Going straight connects the two areas. You can reach the walkway and you can also go outside from the walkway. Let's go there once and check it out. Now I've come outside. There are palm trees planted outside and it looks really nice. This is Osaka, but you can still get a tropical vibe here. Unfortunately, it was too cold to enjoy during filming. You can enjoy a sea view here, and the location is great. In the AC, you head toward Kyushu. There's also a ferry terminal, and it looked like a ferry was docked there as well. Someday, when I earn more, I'd like to take this ferry to Kyushu and introduce the cities of Kyushu in my videos as well. I'll look back and take a look around the facility. To the left is a building with one basement and 12 above-ground floors. Earlier, I visited this place. To the right, the Oz building connects via a corridor and has 2 basement and 6 above-ground floors. The main colors are red and green. Inside, there's a flashy bubble era coloring. You can tell it's huge just by looking at it. It's definitely a commercial facility. AC was planned during the bubble era, and with a construction cost of 1,465 million yen, it opened in 1994. For now, I'll head back to the connecting corridor and walk through the Ozutsutsu. The floor I'm on is the second floor. I should explain this properly, or else people might say the thumbnail is misleading. So let me clarify. Except for a few areas, there aren't that many vacant tenants in this Ozutsutsu. Please keep that in mind. It feels like a typical commercial facility, and lately it's been pretty clean. A food court has also been added. So as I walk through the second floor of Ozu, I'd like to share the background of how AC was established. When opening this AC Technoport, first, I need to explain that there was a sub-center plan called the Osaka Plan for this Technoport. The Osaka Plan AC is here. It was envisioned as a place that would develop as Osaka's sub-center, with Osaka Nanko at its core. It's like aiming to be a futuristic place, similar to today's Odaiba in Tokyo or nearby ports. I think that makes it easier to understand. Amazingly, about 2 trillion yen in total was poured into the plan, but many of the large-scale facilities built under the Technoport Osaka project failed one after another due to overly optimistic projections. One of those is the AC, which I am visiting this time. In this video, I'm also showcasing the entire Osaka Nanko area, including the AC I'm featuring. I've also covered Mishima, which is nearby, and where Osaka failed in its bid to host the Olympics in another video. Yeah, if you're interested, I've put the links in the description, so please check them out. Now, getting back to the topic. The original purpose of AC when it first opened was to make it a trade center for commerce, just as its name Asia Pacific Trade Center suggests. The whole facility was bonded. They had local authority approval, and AC paid customs duties. That never happened. It was expected to become a base for importing goods, processing, exhibiting, storing, negotiating, import handling, and sales. By the way, from the very beginning of its opening, it's more like what we're walking through now. Oz Island was expected to play a central role as a trade center, with strong elements of a typical commercial facility. When it opened, several companies moved in, and it was lively. There was also an amusement park called Sega World, which was positioned much like today's Round 1 Spacha. However, due to high rent and poor transportation access, companies gradually withdrew, and unfortunately, it ended up going bankrupt. Before I talk about the cause of the bankruptcy, I've finally arrived at the bridge to Osu Island. It's so big that I'm already tired from walking. Once you reach this point, people slow down and it gets a bit boring, but I still think I'm doing my best. There was a duty-free shop with many people inside. If you take this escalator up to the 3rd floor, you'll find the restaurant area, but it's been in a pretty tough situation for many years, so let's take a look. I've reached the top of the escalator, so I'll start by heading to the right. It looks like there are 0 stores operating on this side. They're all closed and have been left as they are. And there was an atrium that was clearly built with a lot of money. It probably hasn't changed since it first opened. The right side is abandoned, so I head to the left, but here too there are only traces of closed restaurants for a while. The upper floors of Otsushima are offices. You used to access them via this escalator, but it's now closed. Go further ahead, some places, including the Shabu Shabu restaurant and nearby spots, are still open. At Ibuka, you can practically smell the money. It's exciting. Fugetsu and Torikazoku were still open, and places near the station seem to stay open. It seems that only the shops close to the station are open. Maybe due to the timing, it was quite empty. If you keep going straight, you can go outside once. You can also see the view from here. You can do that, and as expected, it's really beautiful. You can go right back inside. This area is technically also a restaurant district, but only one place is open nearby. It seems they've given up on attracting tenants and have turned it into a rental space called Umieru Cube, which is mostly used for technology-related purposes. Still, the interior is really gorgeous. I wonder if they put extra effort into it, because if the sub-center development plan had succeeded, this would have been the busiest facility. If you go a little further straight ahead, you'll start to see more people. There was a sign that said, "This building is the closest office to the expo." I'm neither for nor against the expo, but when it comes to this, I'm on the expo's side. Just because it's the closest, I don't think anyone would say, then let's set up an office here. This is also a restaurant floor, and there are proper restaurants here, including Caesarea. It's clear that the farther from the station you go, the more vacant tenants stand out, and it feels deserted, but it gets livelier as you get closer. Now, I'd like to suddenly talk about the cause of the bankruptcy here. It seems that high tenant rents were set because they were aiming to become a sub-center of the city. But since it wasn't popular enough to match that, tenants kept pulling out one after another. And personally, I think the poor transportation access was also a problem. I suspect that was the main reason for the bankruptcy. First, there's the issue of having to transfer trains, which I experienced myself. You have to transfer from the Osaka Metro Chuo line at its last stop, Cosmo Square Station, to the new tram. This is where Cosmo Square is located, You can get to the Chuo line directly from Honmachi, Osaka's business district, but you still have to transfer. It's a hassle to go out of your way to transfer. The second reason is that the fare used to be expensive. Until recently, part of the new tram and Chuo line was operated by a third sector company called Osaka Port Transport System, or Osaka Port Transport System for short. Because it was a different railway company, its fare system differed from Osaka Metro and required an extra charge. As a result, few wanted to ride it, so visitors to A and C walked from Cosmo Square Station. It seems that many people chose to either walk or access the area by car. Actually, in the Technoport Osaka plan, they intentionally placed it away from areas that were likely to develop. The city planning involved constructing large buildings, and they intentionally separated them. They built facilities in those locations that could attract visitors. With that, there was a naive belief that the area around Cosmo Square Station would naturally become lively. However, this development faced difficulties, including issues with the AC. Even with large-scale facilities, they couldn't attract visitors. The large-scale development ended without the area around Cosmo Square Station ever becoming lively. I visited the second and third floors and forgot to introduce the first floor. By the way, on the first floor, there's a hall called AC Hall, where events are held regularly. Right nearby, there's an outdoor event space called Umiru Plaza. Idle mini concerts are held here, and in winter there are illuminations and other events. That concludes my introduction of Oz Island. Next, let's move on to the other island. I'm heading there. The outside is well maintained and clean. Even though it's cold, I'm still walking through this beautiful area. After AC's 2004 bankruptcy, a civilian became president, and the company was profitable again by the next year. Tenant occupancy, previously low, also improved even during COVID. This pre-COVID data shows occupancy rose significantly to 87%, and subsidies were given. The local permits were executed without being used much at all. At that time, the position as a trade center for commerce was just in name only. Personally, I suspect there are two reasons why it turned profitable. First, they focused on holding events, especially those aimed at children, targeting families. There are a lot of events. There are several event halls, like the AC Hall I mentioned earlier, and the AC gallery in the building we're about to visit. Since I'm visiting on a weekday evening in this video, it might look pretty empty overall. On weekends, I participate in events held at the AC. It's bustling with families at the center, and then you'll see one reason if you visit the building, so let's go. The entire first floor of the building is a parking lot, so I'll skip that and start exploring from the second floor. The second floor has places like the AC Gallery Event Hall, a cafe, Dezo, Gusto, and the ferry reception, so a lot of people go there. It's crowded. And then the building's biggest highlight appears, a huge open atrium. The open atrium reaches the 12th and top floor, which is impressive. It's no exaggeration to say that I like this AC's open atrium the most. The fact that it's colored red, yellow, green, and blue, something you would never see nowadays, also scores high points for me. So the feeling that this place is promoting itself as a facility where you can play around with the AC is just overwhelming. Go up the escalator to the third floor. On this floor, there are traces left from when it operated as a trade center for commerce, like a specialty store for imported furniture. Most of the area has been renovated into offices. Walking around, I noticed an atrium in the middle that divides the space, making the facility's layout complicated and easy to get lost in. On this third floor, there's an area called Living Plaza. This space houses Osaka City tenants and serves as an exhibition area. It seems you can learn about youth life issues here. I wanted to check it out, but it was outside business hours. Next is the 4th floor. Like the 3rd floor, there's also an imported furniture store here. I'm just genuinely curious, without any prejudice, but I wonder how these kinds of furniture stores make a living. There are stores here, but I wonder if retail is their main income or if they mostly sell to businesses. I found an area with many vacant tenants. The dim lighting inside makes it scarier. Until recently, there was an outlet mall on the 4th to 6th floors, but it closed due to COVID, causing this situation. On the 5th floor, AC Azobimeware, an indoor amusement park, appears to occupy about half the space. However, this is also a popular facility that attracts a lot of people, and on holidays, it's quite lively. The rest of the building is all office space. Tenants filled the 6th floor's vacant outlet mall space, with most occupied by the Osaka City Construction Bureau. I haven't been to the 7th through 12th floors, but the 7th and 8th floors are furniture showrooms, and the entire top floor, the 12th floor, is all office space. And on the 9th and 10th floors, the Osaka City Waterworks Bureau and the Osaka City Port Bureau have moved in. Yes, some of you may have noticed by now, but there are a lot of Osaka City-related tenants here. These organizations are so large that tenant vacancies have appeared. It seems to me that Osaka City is forcibly filling up the vacant spaces as they are. This is actually another reason why the building is able to stay in the black. If Osaka City weren't filling these spaces, I think most of the building would be vacant tenants and running a huge deficit. However, a surplus is still a surplus, and it's true that many people now visit on holidays for events. Many buildings are known as negative legacies, and this one in Osaka is a prime example. As for AC, it has been renovated recently, and sometimes new stores open as well. I think we can continue to expect a lot from it as the commercial facility closest to the Osaka Expo site. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving it a like. See you in the next video.